Hey guys, welcome back. For today's video, we're going to be talking about Portofino. It's a gorgeous little town, but honestly, I didn't realize how small it would actually be. On this one, we were visiting from a cruise, and this particular spot is a tender port. And what this means is instead of a ship docking at a port where then you just walk off right off the boat and you're on shore, this situation, Celebrity Cruise had to use a few of the boats they carry to get us back and forth. Heading there was very smooth. Our boat had a seating area on top. We got to enjoy the beautiful views. The way back though was something else. We'll talk about that towards the end, but yeah, that was interesting. But on the right end, because we got that rooftop seating, we were able to take in and enjoy the beautiful color and all the boats as you got into the marina. All of those just lined up that area. For this particular stop on the cruise itinerary, we decided not to do an excursion for this one. There's so many stops and nothing initially stood out. And we're trying to be conscious of the budget. So we didn't want to spend a ton of money booking excursions for every single one of our days there during the cruise. All right, yeah, so once we made it in and got ashore, we made our way over and walked up to the left and then up a bit. And that got us over to Castello Brown. It's a castle that sits above the town, and quite frankly, it's just going to give you, in my opinion, the best views of Portofino. So all those views that you see up looking down, I'm assuming are coming from the top of the Castello Brown into Portofino. It's going to require an admission fee of about €8, if I recall, when we went in May of 2025. In the castle, there is some history to view within there, but I think the best parts are going to be those views that I was just talking about. Before you get into the castle, there's going to be a little area to purchase beverages and snacks. Also have a few tables and chairs. And if you're just looking to relax or take a break from walking up or after those views, it's just going to give you some additional views out to the ocean. And just, whether you're going into the castle or coming out, you can stop there. This is going to require walking uphill quite a bit. There's incline walks as well as a number of stairs to get up there. So just keep that in consideration before going, because for some it could be a little taxing. Yeah, so after walking through the castle and getting those great views, we wandered through the town of Portofino pretty quickly. Most of our time was spent looking through the various shops. Here we bought a few souvenirs, a few little pictures, a couple things like this that we bought and decided we have framed here in the house. So just, nothing huge, but just some souvenirs that we wanted to bring from our time there in Portofino. It's surprisingly small for what I had imagined its size being, given that I didn't look much into it, just heard the name, I never looked to see, kind of what the size was. Fortunately, there was a bus that you can take. So once you get kind of to the back of Portofino, there's a bus stop. You can purchase tickets. And we hopped on the bus and made our way over to Santa Margherita Ligure. The bus made a handful of stops on the way there. When we got on, we weren't sure where we would get off. We had plenty of time when we got on, so we figured we couldn't get too far and we could make our way back. We were able to talk to some other folks that were on the cruise that actually had friends that had lived there. So we just took their advice and we rode about 10 to 15 minutes when they finally said, this is where we should get off, which I'm glad we did. But yeah, it's not too far of a drive, and that town is pretty decently sized. It's going to be bigger than Portofino. It's got a lot more open areas to walk. There's going to be lots of shops and food options. Here we ate at the Cafe del Porto. It has seating inside as well as by the water, so it's very nice, gives you options. We did it inside. The weather wasn't too great, that day. It was kind of off and on with some rain, so we ate inside. This place was great. They offered a meat and cheese plate with the purchase of some drinks. So we did that, and then we also ordered some of our own plates, and those were very good. Yeah, but this town is very beautiful. We got some good shots before we eventually took the bus back. There's going to be plenty of buses, and if I recall, they come back about every 10 to 15 minutes, I guess. They just give or take, some a little quicker, some a little slower. But you're able to, identify the bus stops. Just pay attention where you get off, and it'll be kind of close on the opposite side of the street to get, if you're going to then get your way back over to Portofino. On the way back to the boat, we had to take the tender. And well, this time, later in the day, the seas were pretty rough. I wanted originally to sit back up on top like we did for the way in, but they weren't letting anyone. And after a few minutes, I quickly found out why. There was a line there in the marina to get back on to these tender boats to get back. And we were the last ones to get on that particular boat to go back. And the only seats were up at the very front. And well, here you can see we're apparently on the Splash Mountain ride here. Wasn't expecting it. They have these doors that open up, and even with them being locked, water was coming through. It was real bumpy. There's some times where, for some people it might give you a little sickness on how bumpy it was. But yeah, it was a little interesting. Everybody was safe, made it back. But it was just made it for more of an interesting story for us to tell our friends on that tender ride back. Yeah, so my thoughts on Portofino. We enjoyed the area, especially since we had access to the bus to get over to the larger towns that I mentioned. In Portofino, though, there are some nice restaurants that are along the marina, but just when we happened to stumble upon them later in the afternoon, they were just so busy with the large crowd. So if you're fine with, just a lot of people walking through, because a lot of that seating's outside along the marina, just take into account, or maybe eat a little bit earlier, or do as we did and go over to the other town where it's a little bit quieter. But if we could not have gone anywhere else, it would have left a few hours of wasted time probably. So, which we probably had to go back to the boat, or just, kind of stumble around. But if you want something more open and less crowded, just like I said, take that bus over to Santa Margherita Ligure, or maybe consider an excursion outside of town. Because again, we didn't do an excursion for this stop. So maybe consider that as part of your itinerary. But yeah, so hope you all are enjoying my commentary in the videos. And like always, let me know in the comments if there's anything else you'd like to see or me talk about. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Bye.